The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Concentrix, a leading global provider of customer experience solutions and technology, has announced that it will now be operating a virtual work at the home office from Georgia. The entry of Concentrix to Georgia is expected to bring many new job opportunities to the area, as Concentrix bring significant new business from some of the world's leading brands to the growing Georgian market.
Concentrix provides customer experience and digital solutions for many of the world's biggest and best-known brands and up-and-coming disruptors in multiple sectors, including travel, telecommunications, e-commerce, banking, health, tech support, utilities, and finance.
As noted in an official statement, Georgia was chosen as the newest Concentrix location due to its solid, highly educated and multilingual workforce, as well as its focus on the services sector and reliable network connectivity.
This move marks another terrific achievement in the expansion of Concentrix, said Daryl Hill, SVP EMEA Delivery and Operations. The addition of Georgia to the Concentrix family is a key part of our growth strategy and supports us in extending our global footprint.
Concentrix has already begun to recruit new employees. Pavel Pula, Site Director, Georgia, Bulgaria, is looking forward to celebrating with some of the new Concentrix staff when they start their new careers with the company later this month.
We are very much looking forward to welcoming our new Georgian colleagues to the Concentrix family. We are committed to setting ourselves apart as a great employer who truly cares about its staff and the local community, and we are looking forward to welcoming many new, passionate and talented people in Georgia over the coming months.
With many different entry points and career opportunities, Concentrix offers excellent opportunities for people who want to work and grow in a leading international business with many different entry points and career opportunities. Recognized as a flexible employer offering security, development opportunities and the ability to work from home, Concentrix certainly has a lot to offer.
And we have to offer the first comment on this.
It's one of the top 5 largest BPO companies in the world. It's a United States company, and we have been working with the company for, let's say, more than a year. And you know that with our direct and indirect tools, with brand awareness, with location scouts, influencers, with electronic magazines and associations, company gathered a lot of information everywhere the company was searching for the Georgia. Searching for the new opportunity. Georgia was coming up as a center of business process outsourcing emerging destination. So finally we can say that the company is now already in Georgia. They already employed 30 people, and of course we can take an example of Majorel. Majorel also started with Tbilisi, and then they have expanded into the regions.
You're watching The Checkpoints with Elena Kvanchilashvili and myself, I'm David Jalagonia. We're here to tell you about business and economics.
Yes, 10 p.m. sharp, and we will start with the hottest news. Enka Renewables LLC terminated an agreement with the government of Georgia. As a result, a hydropower plant worth $800 million will not be built. This week, the parent company of Enka Renewables, Enka Ensat, posted an official statement on the Istanbul Stock Exchange. Our company's 90% owned subsidiary, Enka Renewables LLC, has notified the state of Georgia to terminate the build-operate agreement that had been signed with the Georgian state within the scope of the development, construction, ownership and operation of the Namakhvani Cascade HPP project in Georgia on April 25, 2019 for long-standing breaches of contract and force majeure. The statement read, on September 15th, BMG reported, citing various sources, that the investor in the Namakhvani project, Enka, was considering an arbitration dispute with the Georgian government.
This is really tough and interesting time for not only the Namakani project, but for all the energy sector as well. That's why we decided to take an exclusive interview from Georgi Chikovani, the director of the Georgian Energy Development Fund. During the conversation, we covered not only the process around the Namakani hydropower plant, but many details about upcoming projects in wind and solar energy fields. There is some news about the Enguri tourist route as well, so take a look. Well, first of all, thank you for taking time and taking our questions. I want to start an interview with the latest news. As I know, the tourist route of Enguri Dam is almost ready. When can we visit over there and what can we see?
Because of COVID, these works were delayed last year, but by government decision, by end of this year, we actively started to work with Enguri staff, with local community, and we will develop couple projects. First, we'll be developing the touristic route where visitors will have a chance to observe the dam itself and the visited places were not available to see before. We will also install banners, install monitor. We will develop a video clip where you can see the structure of this really unique building of the dam, of the Enguri itself, the history, how it's developed, and it will help to raise awareness of the visitors. On the later stage from the next year, we are actively working with international financial institutions, with donor organizations, and also our aim, of course, is to attract private investor in this project. And as you know, there are a number of projects that we want to develop there with phases, like to install elevator, 270 height elevator, which will be a fantastic place to visit. We would like to develop a discovery center there. We would also like to install zip line, and this touristic center will be really unique. We also have signed a memorandum of understanding with Hoover Dam in the United States, because this is a very similar project, and we are very proud of that, because Hoover Dam specialists will share their experience in attracting tourists, in meeting all the safety requirements and so on. So we are very optimistic that this project will be very successful.
And what is the total budget of this project?
Depending on the different scenarios which will be developed, it's around 40-50 million Georgian lari.
I want to continue talking about renewable energies now. And first of all, about desert solar power plant. As I know, there's a company which will build this power plant on a place, on the ground. And when can we see finally this project? And tell us about, describe this project.
Recently, about 1 month ago, we completed the tendering process, and the company Next Energy has won this tender, and by the plan they will receive construction permit in a couple of months, and by end of the next year we should have this project commissioned. So in 2020, beginning of 2023, the project will be operational, hopefully. There is also a new incentive which is created by government resolution last year, where government provides subsidies to renewable energy sources if the capacity is more than 5 megawatts. So this project will fall under that category, and this will give additional incentive to investor, in this case for Udavno investor, to develop this project. So we're looking forward to successful completion of the project.
And what is the investment cost of this project?
Right now, as I know, our partner is preparing EPC tender, where the latest prices will be identified from our estimation, the project cost will be around $3.5 million US.
Almost 5 years have passed since the construction of wind power plant in Kartli, in Gori. And we just have still just one wind power plant. What are the main obstacles for investors in this field, and why do we have just one?
I wouldn't say that projects are not developing. There is a quite complicated process that all of them need to pass, and around 250 megawatts right now are completing their development phase. And by development phase, I mean feasibility study, environmental impact assessment, and environmental construction permit process. And I could say that one of our projects, which is 50 megawatt capacity, Nigoza, we hope that by next year they will receive construction permit and actual construction will start next year. This is our plan. So by 2025, around 250 megawatt wind power plants should be operational in Georgia, and this is something that we all looking forward to.
Let's continue with about hydropower plants as well, and one of them is Namahwani project. Are you satisfied with the mediation process?
Outcome will be very positive because from the one side we will learn if there were any mistakes. We think that the process was done according to all the rules and regulations which was enacted in Georgia, and from another side, public and also non-governmental organizations will have a chance to go through the details and to learn more and to achieve some consensus, because projects like this require consensus between local community, between environmental NGOs, and also from the central government. So I think very soon we will have this process completed, and the outcome, I expect that it will be for sure positive.
And what do you think, is it going to change some kind of details in memorandum or contract with Anchor?
It is difficult to change any agreement which is done between government and state, but if it will be required, and with the dialogue, of course, with investor, everything is possible. Although personally, I don't see issues which should be changed in the memorandum. I think the memorandum itself is quite well balanced, and it envisages interests of the government, of the state, of the local administration, as well as interest of the investor. So it's quite well balanced agreement, and I don't see big potential to change it. But if it will be required, and if we identify any issues after this mediation process that it need to be changed, after dialogue, of course, everything is possible, of course.
And before we finish our interview, we should say that electricity imports are growing nowadays, especially from Russia. And how should Georgia respond?
First thing, of course, is to develop local renewable energy sources, and that has been Georgia's strategy since Georgia gained its independence. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, demand grows much faster than the construction of new facilities, and Georgia should continue developing its own resources, of course. Although, since we are a very small country, we are very vulnerable to seasonality, hydrology, our consumption. We are required that we should have room for electricity trade, regional trade with Russia, with Turkey, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and I cannot exclude that trading will not happen in the future. But Georgia has all the possibilities to satisfy its own demand and also trade renewable, clean energy with all its neighbors. So with our strategy is to fully meet our demand with our own resources, and then have ability to trade with energy with all our neighbors. So this is the only solution to this issue.
Thank you for your time, and hope we can meet each other for update all the topics we covered today.
With big pleasure.
David, I think we should still remind our viewers and followers that this interview was recorded before the news about the termination of the Namakwani agreement, but it was somehow pending in the air, and good job that we still got some answers. And of course, we're following the proceedings very closely and we'll keep you updated as we have more information. Before that, let me bring in here the teaser of Forbes infrastructure. Namakwani project does have the magnitude and impact to be placed on the Forbes Georgia cover sometime.
Even though, as we see from the current proceedings, this might take some more time than we anticipated.
Exactly. However, I want to believe that it is still a matter of time, just like other HPP projects that are pending due to the same reasons in most cases. But before that, this month's Forbes Infrastructure gives you an overview of everything you need to know about the sector and more. As a proud member and executive editor of Forbes Georgia, I'm happy to announce that Forbes Infrastructure will be published on a quarterly basis together in cooperation with our old partner Tegeta Group.
Traveling by Ribbon Pass, you will notice the ongoing large-scale infrastructure works with a budget of 2.6 billion GEL, project of the century. This is the name of the highway that you will be able to use in about 2 years. However, this is not the only part of the Georgian highway under construction. What are Georgian infrastructure companies are planning or developing? What is their knowledge, involvement, and the willingness in performing the most challenging technical and engineering tasks? You can read the answers to these questions in an interview with the Minister of Infrastructure of Georgia, Irakli Karsoladze, only in the new thematic issue of Forbes Infrastructure.
In the first issue of Forbes Infrastructure, you will read: in which city of the world does construction cost the most? The rating is opened by Tokyo, which hosted another high-budget Olympic Games and was named the most expensive city. We also counted the Olympics in numbers and offered a list of most expensive games. Georgia buys more than $800 million worth of oil and oil products every year. Here you will find the ratings of the largest oil companies operating in the country. In the opinion column, Mamuk Asalukadze tells us about the urban challenges and future prospects of Batumi. Tsqaltobo, once a glorious and crowded town that has become a necropolis of Soviet monumental architecture, begins a new journey. When and what will be the Tsqaltobo project? You can read about it in the new issue of Forbes Infrastructure. In the pandemic reality, the search for a solution against the background of financial losses began in the exhibition center Expo Georgia. Resan Kikawa, CEO of Expo Georgia, reveals what difficulties they had to overcome and what to expect in the future. The market leader is Tegeta Construction Equipment, a member of the Tegeta Group with leading brands and 14 years of experience. The director, Georgi Beridze, reviews the company's activities and the Georgian construction equipment market trends for Forbes Georgia. The main part of the rehabilitation works of Enguri HPP tunnel has been completed. However, there is little time left before its complete rehabilitation, which is headed by the company Energon. Georgi Mirtsulava, general director of the company, is convinced that thanks to such HPPs, Georgia can become an exporter of electricity. You will learn more from the new issue of Forbes Infrastructure. Tea Zakaradze was recently appointed general manager of TAV Georgia. For the first time in the history of this company, the position will be held by a Georgian. What are her plans and strategies? Find out more in Forbes Infrastructure. We will also introduce you to a man who's creating a new industry in Georgia. The founder of Biol, Tamaz Mchedlidze, tells us in detail about the ideas and large-scale plans.
However, this is not all, and moreover, it is only the beginning. The next issue will be published before the new year, the main topic of which will be transportation, transport communication, and of course, Georgian Railway. We are already planning an interview with the head of Georgian Railway, so join us, read Forbes, send us your opinions, comments, and most importantly, don't stop in becoming successful.
Good roads are essential for a good drive, so after teasing you with Forbes special edition on infrastructure, of which we often think of primarily as roads, let us talk a little bit about Rolls-Royce in Georgia. This car on the roads is one of the special sides. You would agree, Elena?
Definitely, David. Nice bridge to our next stop, by the way. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, we will give you news about Its Majesty, the Rolls-Royce, and its links now to Georgia. Our reporter, Maria Madamia, got the chance to test this real luxury, and now she will tell us more.
A real masterpiece of engineering, tradition, and design created in Great Britain, the Rolls-Royce Ghost is officially in Georgia. Welcome to a true business class. A quintessential symbol of perfection and success, the Rolls-Royce's new model Ghost plays an important role in the world of luxury. This is the most technologically advanced Rolls-Royce ever created. Now we can proudly say that it's in Georgia. The official debut took place and the event was hosted by Rolls-Royce Cars Baku, the brand's exclusive retailer in the Caucasus, which was awarded the prestigious Global Dealer of the Year award in 2019 for its high sales results, leaving 130 Rolls-Royce dealers around the world behind.
We are really excited to present new Ghost in Georgia. Based on the feedback we have received so far, it seems Ghost suits the requirements of our customer here thoroughly. It's a flag bearer of a new minimalistic realm of luxury, as well as technologically the most advanced Rolls-Royce ever.
As for the car itself, it is perfect in its simplicity. However, creating this clean environment is one of the biggest challenges in the brand's history. Designers, engineers, and craftsmen of the new model demanded the freedom to create a specific persona for the new Ghost. They received a desirable outcome and created a truly luxurious product. The exterior and interior of the car are decorated minimalistically.
The fact that we are presenting new Ghost here in Georgia for the very first time, and that we are hosting a Rolls-Royce event in Georgia for the very first time, just underpins the importance of Georgia for our sustained business development. We are continuously seeking new interesting markets with a certain number of customers. Bear in mind, we are always talking about very small numbers. It's a very exclusive niche, but we are continuously seeking out for new markets. And that's why we are extremely happy to be here in Georgia to present new Ghost.
Philosophy of luxury, i.e. Ghost. The ambassador from the new car's homeland attended the presentation. Rolls-Royce's entry into the Georgian market is, according to Mark Clayton, a step forward for the country's economy. He hopes to be able to identify brand lovers on the city streets soon.
So, I'm really pleased to be here at the launch of the new Rolls-Royce Ghost in Georgia. I think it's important for two reasons. First of all, it's a really good example of the best of British engineering and luxury production. Rolls-Royce is a name that is known throughout the world for luxury and extremely high standards of engineering and a quality product. I think the second thing is, of course, bringing Rolls-Royce here to Georgia is a sign of confidence in Georgia's growing economy. And as Georgia progresses towards European Union and NATO membership, this is exactly the sort of thing I hope we'll see more of. So I very much hope we'll see lots more Rolls-Royce motor cars here in Tbilisi.
So for those who want to demonstrate status, power, and wealth, or just want to make a real masterpiece in a world-class car a private property, now they can do so in Georgia as well.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Frank. And first of all, I want you to ask about the main advantages of this car, and can you show and explain us?
Oh, with pleasure. Let's take a look inside, because I think the key thing in a Rolls-Royce is that you've got the magic carpet ride feeling. I haven't been on a magic carpet ride for a while, but it's very powerful, very smooth, but very silent as well, very comfortable and effortless, as we say. And key elements which add to that effortlessness are the materials which we use inside the car. So you're surrounded by the finest leather. It's leather from the Alpine region, because only there you find this quality which we use for Rolls-Royces. My personal highlight are clearly the carpets. They're very fluffy. They're made of the wool of really fat Scottish sheep, because only those fat Scottish sheep deliver the density you need in order to make those lovely carpets. You've got veneers, real wood, etc., etc. So it's a very, very enjoyable haptic experience as well to feel all of those materials.
Mr. Frank, what can you say about the main symbol of the Rolls-Royce?
The spirit of ecstasy. The spirit of ecstasy adorns the bonnet of each and every Rolls-Royce since 1911. And there's a lady who's said to be the muse for the spirit of ecstasy called Eleanor Thornton. And since 1911, each and every Rolls-Royce customer is guided by the Flying Lady. And there aren't too many ladies who guide these men, but she's one of them.
My favorite thing is the silence doors of the car. What can you say about these?
Well, it adds to the comfort of the car. So literally on the touch of your fingertip, you can close the door, and you can see that it closes that way. You have to open it the traditional way. There's a button inside, so if you're sitting inside, you can close it from inside as well. It just adds to the comfort and to the sense of drama a Rolls-Royce needs to have.
Thank you.
And did you notice how the doors of the car open and close?
Yes, it's impossible not to notice, and totally impossible. Tech is everywhere.
Thanks for the comment. We will now tell you about the new education initiative, Digital Institutes, that aims to give knowledge, skills, and the real-world experience for those interested in tech. Our reporter, Anna Tavadze, met 3 young professionals who stand ready to share their great academic and practical experience with those who want to associate their future with the Digital Institute.
Many of our viewers know that the Georgian tech scene is constantly growing and advancing. However, the market lacks highly trained professionals. Many talented and hardworking young people require additional knowledge and skill set to succeed, and highly qualified professionals are just what the Georgian labor market needs. It was because of these needs and potential that 3 young professionals, Tengiz, Kaha, and Ioane, decided to launch a new educational initiative. Unique and international, this is how we can characterize the tech experience that unites the co-founders of the new IT academy called Digital Institute.
Founders have both a technical and a business background. We received our education in the UK in universities of Cambridge and Sussex. I personally then worked in London in the McKinsey digital offices, where I worked for various Fortune 500 and FTSE 100 companies, mainly helping them with their digital transformations. Following that, I got an offer from the Bank of Georgia, who I was originally consulting for, and I decided to join them as the head of Agile as the deputy CIO, which I really enjoyed. One of our partners, Kaha, has his own software development company and a fintech company that he founded, and is currently working on growing that rapidly. We have collected and gathered experience across a range of projects that we faced in Georgia and also abroad with international companies. These include working with BBC, Ford, various banks, and many more. For me, Digital Institute is not simply an IT school. We're much more than that, and that's why we want to take a step above and essentially provide a better service for people. What we realized was that practical experience is critical when it comes to training people and training programmers especially. So even though, for example, I myself studied engineering at Cambridge, what I was lacking was not the theoretical knowledge, but actually dealing with the real life problems. And that's something we want to help with. So with our larger middle training programs, which are 6 months, we have 4 months of theoretical and hands-on programming skills, but the last 2 months of the program are in real-life industrial experience, working with local companies and international software and tech companies, helping them build products. And nothing is better than that, providing them with a real-life experience to really deliver fantastic digital products.
Founders are well aware of the type of competence, qualifications, and skills needed to be successful in the tech field, in Georgia and abroad. Accordingly, students of the Digital Institute will be offered courses that will be created as a result of the founders' unique experience and professional discoveries. After completing the course, the Institute will offer students various employment opportunities.
Needless to say, when a young individual will have an opportunity to not only learn and train in a chosen framework, for example, to train with Angular, and will have, in addition to that, an opportunity to practice and gain real-life experience, what he has learned while engaging in a real-life project. This will, of course, make him stand out from other candidates and will help him in his further and future job hunt. And essentially, that's what Digital Institute is really all about, because what we're trying to do is to encourage and help young individuals to first understand the opportunities that they can have. So we're like an entry-level place where young individuals can learn how to work with technologies and later get employed at leading companies.
The founders appreciate the growing number of Georgians employed by tech giants and want to be actively involved in the process. They want to contribute to the country's economic empowerment by encouraging and helping young Georgians to be employed in foreign markets.
What's next for Digital Institute? Of course, it's forming partnerships with more foreign companies Essentially, since our goal is to help young, motivated individuals who are tech savvy to get employed at foreign companies, that create more cases where young Georgians are able to get employed at Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. That would be our next stage of development.
Anna told us about boys. I will tell you about women in tech. This is a very hands-on program dedicated to supporting women entrepreneurs to boost their potential and find self-confidence to be professionally involved in STEM and contribute to expanding the startup community in Georgia. More comes in our interview. Welcome, ladies, to the show. Thank you for being with us, taking time and taking our questions. Kate, let's start with you. Please tell us about the project Women in Tech. Why women? Why tech? Why Georgia?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me here, and Annie as well, because it's really important to give the light to the woman issue, not only in Georgia, but overall. Why we chose Georgia was because we really are now, as a USMAC, dedicated to supporting emerging markets. As you know, as a USMAC, we are not only a startup accelerator in Silicon Valley that is focused on foreign markets, but we are also an ecosystem builder. So we help governmental agencies, universities, and others to understand how to support entrepreneurs inside the country, and that it takes not only helping startups or helping women, but other players to come together. Mm-hmm. And then when we found out about the wonderful partnership that we can have with USAID, we decided to create Georgian Women in Tech program. And why specifically for women? Well, as you know, all of us being women in business, there's many disadvantages that we are non-stop being faced with that men don't have to face. For example, the gender role that is pushed on us, like sitting at home with kids. So to imagine that we can be entrepreneurs, that's really important. We wanted to show that you can have it all. You can have a family and you can be an entrepreneur and a successful woman in business.
Did you need to work on this specifically on this vision with Georgian women entrepreneurs?
So Pochkoidze from Pulsar AI, first acquisition in the history of Georgia, she was part of the program, and she told me that the impact the program had on her was that she finally saw that she's not alone, that there are other women in business, and that community we have built thanks to Georgian Women in Tech is incredible. And now she is also serving as a role model in Georgia. So that's one of the goals of the program. The other goals were to give them the necessary business skills, hard and soft skills that many startup founders lack. Doesn't matter if it's a woman or man, especially in emerging markets. The other was to connect them with investors from Silicon Valley and corporations and potential partners and clients. Because, frankly sad, many accelerators, they base their programs on doing programs in Silicon Valley or doing programs in already established markets. Mm-hmm. But that's not how you can help an emerging market.
And that's different because it's in Georgia, right?
Especially. And we even made, we have been already working with Georgia for a few years through partnerships with JITA, where we help them coach the startups. And then our Silicon Valley investors come in and choose who's going to get the grant.
So what's this new step? What does it entitle?
For 6 months it was online and entitled, as I said, one-on-one mentorship, panel discussions to inspire them and connect them with role models, a month of workshops on business skills, but not only business skills, because when you look at women, what we need is not only to want to do something, to see the role models, to have the skills and have someone kind of like a mentor take your hand and help you do it. As a woman, we struggle with one basic thing. We need to believe in our own selves. The imposter syndrome is more often seen when you look at the women entrepreneurs rather than at men. So we addressed even mental health in our program during those 6 months. And then they had over 4 pitches to investors so they can receive immediate feedback and maybe even potential investment from the Silicon Valley investors. We created monthly group sessions for them, so all of them connect, because we had not only actually 8 Georgian female entrepreneurs. We also had entrepreneurs from France, from Italy, from Turkey, from Japan. So they immediately build this international community and network that can help them. But we don't stop there, because we also created an alumni platform where then they continue to engage together. Because as the US MAG, our mission is driven all about sustainable impact.
Okay, so we see what are the immediate goals and immediate results. Now go to USAID. What do you see as the long-term results, and what are goals there, and why USAID decided that this program is worth supporting?
Right, so USAID's overarching goal is to help our partner countries achieve sustainable development. In Georgia, we're doing that by boosting the economy, making it more dynamic and more inclusive. With the tech program, we know that when women are able to achieve their full economic potential, everyone benefits. The economy rises, GDP will increase. When women can participate in a program such as this, they realize what can be, and they can break their own glass ceiling, which is what I understood. Some of these women are seeing that they can achieve far more than they thought they could ever before. So in the long term, in the big picture, these 5 women have the potential to, in 20 years, be the influential women leaders to pull new entrepreneurs up and help them.
5 women, right? But the goals are far greater than just 5 women, right?
What makes this program a little bit different than the other programs that USAID does is that it has already completed the funding cycle. However, the program is still going because of your organization. These women will continue to get support. They will continue to have challenges when they develop their companies. And when they have those challenges, they're going to go back to you guys, and they're going to figure out how to deal with those challenges, how to accomplish them, how to break those barriers. So as they get this support, these 5 women are also have created kind of a community, a network. They will undoubtedly help other women achieve the same.
Yeah. How long will these 5 women need you and guidance of your organization?
Well, that depends on every entrepreneur, right? But we always tell them that by the 6 months, it's not ending. Because now we had the first cycle from February till August, so the cycle ended, but we want, through collaboration with USAID, and thank you again for being the real supporter, helped with us to build this bridge between Silicon Valley and Georgia by supporting 5 female entrepreneurs in Georgia to participate in this program, but also other organizations here like GTAN, UN Women, Caucasus University are an amazing supporter for the economy here. Because what we need to understand is, by creating one high-scale, high-paid job, which startups are normally creating, you create at least 7 other jobs, because that person needs to live somewhere, eat something, they have families. So they are growing the economy. Imagine how much more jobs are created by startups growing. So that's why I'm very happy by this partnership.
Startups are the riskier, the riskiest, so to say, businesses, right? They may become unicorns, or they may totally fail. What gave you the strength? Where did you see this potential in these 5 women, or how did you see that potential that you are investing U.S. taxpayers' money, right?
So USAID supports women's economic empowerment in all of our program. It's incorporated in everything we do. We know how important it is to lift women up. So we have 2 other programs that are supporting women's entrepreneurship. One is USAID Yes Georgia, This program is supporting women entrepreneurs through startups, helping hold their hands, giving them the access to finance, the access to information, and helping them with business skills similarly. But what it doesn't do is provide this network that the women really need to be able to rise higher. So far, this program has supported 600 women. In the last year, it will focus only on women entrepreneurs, and it will support 2,500 women in total when it's over.
So this network is open for other women as well who might not be part of the specific program Women in Tech, but they also want to be empowered, right? As I understand.
Yes, and also you need to understand that we look at it as prism of 5 women were supported, but it's not about 5 women. Those 5 women become role models for the whole Georgia, and not only Georgia, but other emerging markets, because they will see what they achieved, how they stepped in. I also want to highlight 2 of the participants were pregnant, and one of them actually gave birth during the program. That already itself is such an amazing example of that. We don't have to just sit at home. We can be entrepreneurs and also have a happy family. It's not one or another.
What are the results so far? I mean, Pulsar AI, that's an exceptional
story that we don't need to talk about.
Yes, exceptional result. We also covered it at BMG, Forbes, Georgia, everywhere where business media is present. But what are some other results?
Well, other results, Bizon got a matching grant from JITA. So that's a great achievement. The others are expanding to global markets, not only to US, because I want to also stress out, when we say global expansion, we don't mean only US. It's a great bridge that we want to build, but not everyone needs to be unicorn to really empower the economic development of the country. And then we have other startups that participated, Shania, Beauty Lab, and Smart Fertilizers, that are now getting either their first test because they're in agriculture, or they are hiring people actively.
All of them we have interviewed at some point. I'm so proud to hear those names and knowing that business media stands where it should be standing. So Leslie, just to sum up, what will be your recommendations to the women that are also listening to us, and what are some of the opportunities for them?
Women traditionally lack the access to finance and knowledge. So my advice to them would be to link into these networks, these women networks, because once they have established, they'll be able to grow, and you can share your knowledge, share your information, work together, link into the influencers of the community.
Hopefully this is not a very harsh men versus women, right? These women might become role models for men as well.
Now,
I see it.
I want to stress out this detail. It's not a woman program. It's not a woman against man. We actually have a lot of male allies as a part of the program. Good. Half of the experts, investors, participants from Silicon Valley are all men, because we don't want to build a woman club. It's not that we are against each other, it's about collaboration together. So that's another thing that I want to get out there, is for women to, of course, stick together, change their mindset, allow themselves to dream, try things, be a role model for others, help each other, because we need to help each other. But also I want to reach out to the men who are listening to this, that please help women, give them that helping hand, because like it or not, you as a man are in the power positions right now, and we need you to be allies. It's a group effort. You know, at USMAG, my two colleagues, the 2 co-founders, are men, and they came up with the idea that we should do a women program all together. So there are men out there that also want to help women.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for being with us and taking our questions.
Thank you for having us.
Well, that's all for today. Another Checkpoints has drawn to an end.
But our viewers do know that before next Sunday, they should follow us on BMG and Forbes.g.
Definitely, we will meet you on Sunday again.
10 p.m. sharp, but before that, we will leave you off with a very interesting feature from Guillaume Moulard. Enjoy.
Camacho Bajuelas. Today, I'm going to bring you to Métis, a restaurant located in the Old Tbilisi, marrying French gastronomy and Georgian cuisine. The French owner, Thibaut Flamand, decided to organize there today a wine tasting with one of the most famous and historical Georgian wine companies, GVS, with several European influences. You will see that those two cultures are matching perfectly together, and this, for a lot of reasons. Follow me.
GVS was founded in 1993 on the base of Achinebuli winery, but Achinebuli winery itself was constructed in the years of 70s during Soviet Union period. In 1976, the production of wine was scaling up in Kakheti region, and the government decided to construct in the center of the region, of Kakheti region, a big, huge winery with the potential to process 10,000 tons of grapes. So at this period, Achinebuli winery was the newest and the biggest winery in the country, in Georgia. Then, after collapse of Soviet Union, in Georgia we had a very difficult period, and this turbulent general environment hampered economic situation, economic development in the country. There was no investment, and all the wineries which were owned by government were closed or offered to investors. Then in 1993, situation was getting better, and there was a group of shareholders who purchased this newest and biggest Achinebuli winery and founded GVS, Georgian Wines and Spirits Company. And they already started first steps for development of contemporary Georgian winemaking in Georgia. They had very good relationships with France, some relationships with French chateaus, wineries. So they brought in Georgia, they introduced in Georgia the European approaches, European standards. So all this information and know-how was spread in this period in Georgia throughout GVS. Then later in 1999, already some investors became interested with the wine industry in Georgia as well. And Pernod Ricard became, at this period, sole shareholder of the company, of GVS, and they devoted huge funds for development of winemaking and viticulture practices in the company. So they planted 400 hectares of vineyards in the best terroir of Georgia, in east and western part of Georgia as well. They exported first Georgian bottled wine from independent Georgia. They created first wine brands as well. It's Tamada and Old Tbilisi, our historical brands. That was the first wine brands in Georgia in general. But today, GVS is owned by Marussia Beverage Groups since 2013. And Marussia Beverage, this is an international wine and spirits group who has 12 companies in different countries worldwide, different kind of spirits production and wine production in Georgia. Since 2013, Marussia Beverage Group invested in Georgia more than 20 million euro for development of winery and its vineyards. Today we can really proudly say that at every stage of its existence, GVS was a leader and making new initiatives, new steps, and everything was coming from Europe, especially from France. This knowledge, know-how, information, new technologies. Today GVS is owner of 51 hectares of bio-organic vineyards, and it's other 400 hectares of vineyards, others are in transmission process, which means that in 2 years in Georgia we have some amount of bio-organic vineyards, and 70% of these vineyards will be owned by GVS. Our strategy is underpinned by principles of authenticity, quality, integrity and innovations.
These govern every aspect of our business. Today our strategy is based on three main pillars. The first and the most important is our wines, their quality and style. So we have different kind of wines for every taste of every consumer. We can say we have different blends, we have traditional wines, Kvevri wines, all kind of wines we can find in Georgia, and also we are doing, our French winemaker is doing nice experimentations. So we have a new limited collection in the brand of Bismino, for example, which is blends of, for example, Georgian rare grape varieties and French rare grape varieties. The second and also very important is diversification of our export markets. And third is development of our trade marks and portfolio. So we are exporting our products in more than 25 countries worldwide, and we are trying to increase this number annually. GVS, during his history as well, exported Georgian wine in many countries, first time, and popularized Georgian wine in general abroad. So we are still continuing these steps. We have our traditional markets, of course, like Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, Poland. We have new markets which are very interesting and important in Asia, especially China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan. USA is also new and very strategic market, and we have, we can say, prestigious market in Western Europe, France, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and so on. And our brand's architecture is quite strong as well, and they are in different segments, like from super premium, premium, upper mainstream, mainstream, and entry level. So they can respond to the demand of every consumer for their style of wine or pricing. For pricing as well, it's very important. We are using international methods to segment each brand. It can be premium or upper mainstream or super premium. So it's all is done by European standards. It's very important to make wine tastings in restaurants, in wine bars, for consumers, for customers, for sommeliers. This is one of our important principles to make, to educate markets. Because during the Soviet Union, we can say that consumption of wine and style and situation of consumption changed very much. And now people are very interested in Georgia to know more, to understand more how to taste on a European style more. And we are trying as well to meet our partners, to make tastings, to explain our wines more, to explain our quality. And so we are quite often making this kind of tastings. And our marketing and sales staffs were graduated by WSET level 2 or level 3 from a school, a French school, Académie du Vin. So they know very well the standards of tastings, and they can explain very well our products.
We took over this restaurant a year ago. It's been existing since 2017. My partner and I, we've traveled a lot, and we love Georgia, and we've decided to bring some of our travels here and make a mix of the things that we like. And we have some French food with a Georgian twist, and we're always trying to make the cultures talk and work well together. So Métis in French means the mix of cultures. And our idea is to make a place that is home to everyone. So we have Georgians, we have tourists, we also have expats. More and more, Georgia is attracting a lot of expats or digital nomads. And those digital nomads, we want them to meet. We want them to meet with tourists. We want them to meet with Georgians. It's a great place to exchange about your travel tips, your guides to Georgia, and all these sort of things. So French and Georgia have food skills and food cultures that talk very well together. We have very similar ingredients, we have very similar tonalities in our food, and we're able to mix them in a way that makes them even better together. Some examples, we have like a beef bourguignon rincali. We use, in France, beef bourguignon would be with Burgundy wine, but here we use saperavi. And it gives a lot of earthiness, a lot of texture to our food. And the rincali, of course, is extremely Georgian, and so we use that format to serve our food, to serve an untraditional French and Georgian beef bourguignon. The logo is a snail, and instead of the shell, we have a rincali on top. Because the first time I came to this restaurant, and I wasn't owning it yet, I had the snail rincali. I was like, wow, what a brilliant idea. It's a perfect mix of two cultures. And we took that, and because it's something that we're really attached to, we've made it our logo now. And what's really interesting is the snail rincali has a very long history in Georgia. It was introduced in the early 1800s by missionaries, by French missionaries near Ahalsike. And they brought snails, they started the snail rincali, and so this métissage, this mix of cultures, has been existing for at least 2 or 3 centuries in terms of food and rincalis.
So food and wine pairing is very important for us because an ideal match of food and wine can provide more pleasure than separately wine or food. So that's why there are a lot of examples. For example, one of the best examples is oysters and champagnes, which we all know that it's a perfect match. But in general, there is some elements of tastes in wine and elements of tastes in food, like acidity, salty, sweetness, and so on. Now we can taste these elements in wine and in food and choose which is the perfect match.
Georgia is for sure the birthplace of wine. We are producing wine here for more than 8,000 years, but European techniques are helping the Georgian wineries to develop themselves on a daily basis. A perfect match, proving that those two cultures are decidedly really complementary.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.